Radio Riyadh 96.8. Radio Riyadh presents
creativity,
ideas,
innovation,
change,
leadership,
development,
youth in entrepreneurship. Only on
Radio Riyadh 96.8 MHz.
Entrepreneurship solves the problems that exist in our society today. Nepali economy can progress only if the culture and ecosystem of entrepreneurship develops and grows. Entrepreneurs who possess practical and relevant plans that can be executed well are the real heroes of Nepal. Namaste and welcome to Youth in Entrepreneurship. My name is Avilasha Raemaji. Youth in Entrepreneurship comes to you every Sunday 5 to 6 p.m. and this is our 9th episode. In this episode, we have Vikrant Pandey, who is the director of Paritran Risk Management Consultancy and Training Institute, which specializes in safety trainings and consultancy. In today's episode, we will be discussing about the initiative of Paritran Risk Management Consultancy and Training Institute, Fight Back. So let me first welcome Vikrant ji on the show.
Thank you very much, Abhilasha.
You're welcome. So how was your earthquake experience and what did you learn from this earthquake?
Well, I think it was a wake-up call for me personally and the nation as a whole. And I think what I learned personally was preparedness. Preparedness is the key to be able to give the right response to such crises.
So the Paritran, basically you were working in minimizing the risks. So
exactly.
How did you deal personally with the risk of the disaster?
Well, since we are in the risk management field, we were, I felt I was personally more prepared than most of the people were, because since this was our business, we had certain protocols designed and to get our business in business as usual mode. So our recovery time was a little bit more faster, we felt so. So I think we did well in that regard.
Okay, so what are the activities that you are involved in post-earthquake, you and your organization?
Well, one of the things, besides the relief materials, the distribution of relief materials, what we did was, in regard to our training program, Fight Back, which is a women's self-defense program, we conducted a women's self-defense workshop for the earthquake survivors in Kathmandu. This was the first of the trainings that we did. Since the thing is that the aftermath of such incidents, such natural disasters, when such a natural disaster happens, in the case of Haiti, about 1 million people were displaced and around 14% of that population reported sexual violence in the period of 2 years. Even in a country like Japan, which has traditionally low levels of sexual violence, during the 2011 earthquake, there were cases of sexual harassment and sexual violence. So in order to address this risk, we conducted this proactive training program in partnership with United Women's Empowerment and WHR. And it was a very fruitful training program. There were about 40 plus women and small girls too who participated, and they had a lot of fun. And the main thing is that they learned a lot in a one-day training program. They understood what's sexual violence, what are the things, what is a criminal's mindset, what is a victim's mindset, what are the risk response strategies, and they learned self-defense skills. That's what they did.
So tell us more about the Fight Back initiative that your organization has created, and how did this idea basically originate?
Well, as we deal with risk management, our main aim is to reduce our clients' vulnerabilities, individuals or organizations. And actually, we started to think about women's self-defense programs since 2010. We started to design this in context of the Nepalese context, and we created Fight Back. It was not called Fight Back then. It was called Risk Management Training for Violence Against Women. It was a very technical name. We launched the product, but what we found was then even the women organization who worked in women's security were not too interested in a women's self-defense program, because they used to equate women's self-defense and martial art, and women's self-defense is something very different. And what we did was we had a hiatus of about 2 years where we did the research and development, and we further developed the product, and we even gathered data in terms of what are the hotspots of rape. We have a software which can show a rape map of Nepal and show the hotspots where rape happens more, which are the districts. What is the victim and criminal age bracket? What are the weapons used? So we took a very scientific approach, and we did a data mining and data analytics, and we developed the products. And what happened was, during 2012 December, we relaunched it. We gave it a very, we thought the technical name was not, it was not matching. Yeah, it was not. So we gave a name called Fight Back. It was very easy. It had that stickiness factor, and we launched in 1st of December 2012. And it so happened in 16 December 2012, the Delhi rape case happened, and there was suddenly women's security and sexual violence became a sort of rallying around point, and even the media took it, and it somehow took the imagination of the public too, and after that, even in Nepal, this kind of intervention was appreciated, and then we were the first people to introduce corporate self-defense in Nepal, and from there we started to build linkages and started to do the training. But the thing was that we developed this initiative as a social enterprise, where we charge organizations and individuals who can pay, but a certain amount of the budget is set aside for CSR activities, and those CSR activities we provide high impact social trainings like the earthquake survivors, and the trainings that we did for the low vision and visually impaired females, and even journalists. And so that's our modus operandi.
Okay, so on June 2013, you conducted the first ever women's self-defense training for visually impaired in Asia. And so how has the experience been dealing with the visually impaired females?
Yeah, that was like one of our most proudest moment. We were very proud to be associated with Chain Fusion Nepal, and we did this program, and it was a great challenge for us, because we had to understand the perspective of a visually impaired person, interacting with the world around themselves, And first, it almost took us about 1 to 2 months to get that perspective, and to give a customized, bespoke training package for those individuals. And the way it was a 10-day training, and it was very intensive, about 3 hours. In that, about so half an hour to 45 minutes was dedicated to the theoretical aspect of women's self-defense. It's more over a risk management training, where we teach them how to build up a risk response strategy on how to identify dangerous zones, a criminal mindset, how to have an assertive verbal communication strategy, body language, reading body language. In case of the visually impaired, it was a daunting task to teach them how to do that, and to understand how do they they also understand body language, but it is more over the pitch of the voice. So in case of a normal person, it's the visual cues that we interpret, but for them it's the voice. They give more priority in the voice. So besides that, and then we taught them self-defense skills. So it was a very intensive program, and till date they are one of our best trainees, the way they did, and it was a very fruitful program.
So what kind of impact did this program have, and what are the success stories?
Okay, the main impact of the training program was the self-confidence of the trainees. They had an increased self-confidence, and I think that's the most, that's the most valuable impact a training can have. And besides that, we had a certain level of, awareness through the media, because it was picked up by many local media, the first training. And one of the problems the trainees faced was the sexual harassment that happened in public vehicles. We had a specialized training module to deal with that, how to deal with public vehicle sexual harassment. And what we did was, this was publicized. And right after that, when we got a feedback from the trainees, they told us that there had been a drop in the public vehicle sexual harassment, and even the drivers and the conductors, they listened to this and they said, now you girls are, you're learning self-defense now, you got to be careful. So so that was one of
that way it really helped them.
Yeah, of course, it really helped them.
We'll be talking more about Fight Back, but before that we are going for a short commercial break. We'll be back after this Riaz Business Box.